So I took a bunch of lessons in, I don't remember, 1920. So that's the lesson number. And I want to read them and take you through the process of beginning to understand not only the importance of forgiveness, but really to highlight the truth of who we are. So lesson 31 tells us that I am not a victim of the world I see. As we begin to do the work of really remembering the truth of who we are returning our mind to a state of recognition of how powerful we are. We were powerful when we rejected love. We are just as powerful to return to love. So we need to use the same power that rejected love to begin to reject fear. We can do that. We can say, no, I am not going to live as a victim. The body may have been victimized, but the truth of who I am, the soul, the essence, cannot be affected. Why? Because it is eternal energy and it is God's energy. The second one from lesson 46 is God is the love in which I forgive. So you're not going to be forgiving people by yourself. We are going to be forgiving with the love of God that is inside of us. We're going to develop a relationship with the Holy Spirit, intuition, your guide, whatever you want to call it. So the course is about training us to remember the love of God is the truth of who we are, and to begin to use that love to do the forgiveness with. Our wounded self does not want to forgive the other person, because in the forgiving the other, the story of victimization drops. So we have to access the part of us that is one with God, because that's the one that wants to free us from the weight of a story of victimization, so that we can own that what we are was not affected. We experienced something, but it cannot alter what God created already perfect. The next lesson is 61, says, I am the light of the world. And as we begin to understand that light, energy, love, all of that is the same, not only are we that love, are we that energy, but the light of the world has a very special symbolism. As we begin to let go of our density, we lighten up. So as you lighten up, you look a lot brighter. You look a lot shinier. You smile more. Your forehead is, it's not so frowny. You become somebody that is a beacon that people say, my gosh, look at that one, how happy they are. We all know people like that. We've been that many times. So that word light has many, many applications. You lighten up, you become a light, you become a beacon, because then people can see that you transcended something, especially they've known your real sad story, and all of a sudden you're not living from that story. They go, how did you do it? And we become teachers for each other and light the way for them. Forgiveness is my function as the light of the world. Lesson 62 is letting us know, once you recognize that you are the light, we got to forgive everything that blocked it before. So forgiveness is the function of one who begins to own their light. Lesson 64 tells us that the light of the world brings peace to every mind through my forgiveness. So the only way that my light can shine is through my forgiveness. So I am the light, but my victimization story blocks the light. It's like putting, what do they say? Don't hide under a bushel. So we got to get our light out from under the bushel. We've got to let our light shine, and the way it shines is through our forgiveness. 68 says that love holds no grievances. If you hold a grievance against somebody, please don't delude yourself into thinking that you are being loving. That's not loving. Love holds no grievances. There is no one that love would say, I'm not going to love you because blah, blah, blah. That is ego love, which is conditional love. I'm not going to love you because you didn't give me what I wanted. I'm not going to love you because you took from me what I wanted. So we have to learn that we are already the light, accept that we are, we have a purpose, and our purpose is to be here. Our function is to be the light of the world, and that happens through forgiveness, because love doesn't hold grievances, and we want to let our love extend. Love is the light that shines out of us. Lesson 76 says, I am under no laws but God's. So the ego has a thought system. The laws of man are not the laws of God. The laws of man say that we are sinners, that we are bad, that we're good, that we're wrong, that we're up, that we're down, that we're tall, that we're not perfect, that we're imperfect. The rules of man are created by humans that have egos. that when we are in separation, we are in duality, we create laws that are beneficial to the ones who are creating the laws. Have you noticed that in our politics?
Yeah.
How it seems like they can't get anything done because we have opposing teams. And what one thinks is right, the other one thinks it's wrong. So nothing can get done. We have become so polarized, which is why we're in the middle of a shift in consciousness. We have gone as far as we can possibly go, and it's time to return to stop playing these childish games and own the power that is inside of us so that we can then illuminate the path for all of us to ascend out of the density. So when we begin to understand the laws of God, they're very simple. God is energy, it is pure love, and it is meant to be extended because it is infinite. It needs to continue moving. It doesn't need us to continue moving. It is going to do that no matter what. Either we go with it and flow with it, or we block it and suffer. The amazing thing is that we are always the ones deciding. We've been deciding unconsciously because we didn't know there was this other way. Now we get to decide consciously. Lesson 101 says, God's will for me is perfect happiness. So when you begin to say, I am under no laws but the laws of God, and God commands us to be happy because God created us to be happy, we are God's expression to joyfully explore this planet in our own unique way and bring our gifts and talents to the planet through the process of giving. In exchange, we give our joy, we receive the joy. We give our talents, we receive the joy of our talents. Well, when you know you're under God's laws and God said, you got to be happy, then you got to look at why are you not happy? Because once you realize that happiness is you shining your light, is you being authentically you. And once you get a taste of that real happiness, not temporary ego happiness, which is just pleasure from a bottle, from drugs, from sex, from a promotion, from money, from shopping, that's not real happiness. That's a temporary high that will have a low. So when you understand the laws of God, and it is all love, then happiness is going to be what you're going to want to commit to. And if you're not happy, you're going to want to find out why. And then you'll find those thoughts in your mind. Lesson 106 tells us that let me be still and listen for the truth. You cannot listen for the truth in a noisy mind. Why? Because when the ego thought system is active, it's telling you all kinds of things that are not true, distracting you, it's blaming other people as we saw on the other chart, it's blocking truth, it's conniving, it's protecting, it's trying to glorify itself, it's trying to make itself lesser or better. It's a noisy head. How many of you have had the pleasure of observing the noise in your head? Didn't it startle you when you began to hear and to pay attention, to become aware of all of that insanity? Oh my gosh, it startled me the first time that I realized I was carrying a conversation, both sides of it. You know, you better do that. No, I'm not. And it was like, oh my God, how many of me are in there?
Yeah, right.
It is so startling. So when you begin to realize that perfect happiness is your purpose because it's God's law, then you want to get still and begin to pay attention. Because to wake up from the ego is like unraveling this crazy ball of yarn that's been collecting momentum and speed for thousands of years, and you were born and you were handed this thought system that you didn't get a choice about what to believe, but you chose to accept it. And that's where we have to claim our power. We chose to accept what we never questioned. Now we are questioning, what is it that we're willing to accept? Because you don't want random thoughts that are not in alignment with the laws of God to be in your mind, because if you have thoughts that don't align with God, you're blocking love, which means you're not going to feel perfect happiness. So we have to get still. We got to get quiet and be willing to listen. Lesson 107 says that truth will correct all errors in my mind. Truth will correct the errors after you sit still and listen for the truth. So there is a process that we have to follow. You sit still, you listen for the truth. Truth will begin to correct all errors, because when you hear a thought that says, I am better than so-and-so, well, that thought will get corrected when you realize, no, we're one, we're the same. They have different thinking than I have, but the essence that we are is the same, because the process of waking up and moving down that bridge to return to love is forgiving what is different according to the ego, so that we can accept what is the same according to God. And God made us all the same, and God's laws are consistent. If I am innocent, so are you. If I am the presence of love, so are you. We cannot see anybody as other than how God created them, even while we're accepting the different thought systems. But that's how we correct errors in our own mind, is to accept the truth in everybody. Lesson 108 says that to give and to receive are one in truth. What I give to you, if I give you love, I receive love, because it's an energy that is moving. So as I give it, I receive it. If I give you a compliment, I'm feeling the expansion of the compliment. If I'm giving you a hateful thought, I am feeling the tightness of that hateful thought. So whatever I give to you, I'm receiving it over here. That begins to help us really get clear that we don't want to be judging, because to put it out there is to have it felt here. That's why to hold resentments never feels good. There's a temporary high of righteousness, but then there's the guilt, there's the shame, there's the carrying of that hate inside of our mind. We are the recipients of that. I forget who said this, but they say that, hating on somebody else is like drinking poison, wanting them to die. Well, if you're putting the hate in you, you are feeling it. Why? Because giving and receiving are one. And then if we go to the next lesson, 121, forgiveness is the key to happiness. If your purpose is to be happy, and you're only going to follow God's laws, and you know you want to be happy, forgiveness is the key to happiness. You've got to do the forgiveness work according to the Course in Miracles. Not, I forgive you, but I don't want to see you anymore. I forgive you, but you're out of my life. That's not true forgiveness. That is egoic forgiveness that gives us the illusion that we have protected ourselves from somebody else. If we are thinking we have to protect ourselves from somebody else, we don't know our infinite, eternal nature, and we don't know that what we are is invulnerable. Cannot be affected by anybody else, especially not by their opinions of us. And then we look at the next lesson, 122, forgiveness offers everything I want. If you would just commit that one lesson to memory, forgiveness offers me everything I want, then you know that unforgiveness will offer you everything you don't want. Who would you want to have a hateful thought for? Because it's going to offer you everything you don't want. You're going to feel the discomfort in your own body. The next lesson, 126, is all that I give is given to myself. Again, giving and receiving are one. If I give you forgiveness, guess what I'm just experiencing? I'm beginning the process of my own forgiveness. Lesson 131 says, no one can fail who seeks to reach the truth. So what is the truth? The truth, according to God, is that truth has no opposite. When you come to the truth, it has no opposite. It's not possible, because it's all encompassing. So truth, gravity affects all of us. Gravity does not care if your hair is curly or not. It'll take joy and me down no matter what. It doesn't care if you're rich or poor. It doesn't care if you're black or white. It doesn't care if you're French or Russian. Gravity is consistent for everybody. Water makes everybody wet. It's consistent. When we come to the thing that is the same for all of us is when we're coming to what is truth. So if I have a different opinion than you, we're operating with perceptions, not with truth. And we've got to be willing to question our perception, because we can sit in this room and I can ask you, well, tell me about this room. And all of us who are looking in different directions are going to have a perception of the room, but that does not make it true for the whole room. And we are just so conditioned to protect what we believe, because we believe that if we're wrong, that means that we're bad, we're sinners, we're less than, which is a big disservice that the education system has done and the parents have done, and not letting us all be people who are always learning and growing and expanding. So when we make things really solid, right or wrong, in the avoiding to be wrong, we really work hard to be right and righteous. So then you look at the next one here, number 20, let's say 134. So let me perceive forgiveness as it is. It's a very simple process, very simple. The Course in Miracles is teaching us that the true process of forgiveness is to recognize that we forgot the truth. I forgive myself for forgetting my truth. I forgive myself for forgetting your truth. It really is that simple once you've practiced it enough. Lesson 138 says that heaven is a decision I must make. If we want to experience heaven, which is what living with alignment or in alignment with God's truth is what we would experience. To not operate with God's truth is what creates hell. So I'm going to write this for us. So heaven and hell are a state of mind. Heaven is an alignment with the truth that God has declared as God's law. Hell is the state that we create for ourselves by blocking the truth. When we decide to become the judge and jury of the world and of ourselves, we are now attempting to take on a role that is not our own. And when we begin to decide that we know what's best for everybody else, remember, we're always doing that from a very limited perception. I can only know what I know. But the ego doesn't know what it does not know. And our job in waking up is to be willing to open our minds to allow more information to come in. Because as we allow more information to come in, we're going to also be allowing more truth. Righteousness keeps truth out. So that willingness to question our thinking is so important. So heaven is a decision that we must make. What is heaven? Peace of mind. Returning our mind to a state of peace where we're not arguing with what is. Lesson 152 is the power of decision is my own. No one can make you a victim. That's a state of mind. It's hell. Nobody can make you better than. That's a state of mind. It's hell. Nobody can make you feel anything. Your thoughts create how you feel. Nobody can do anything to you that alters your beingness as God created it. I'm not saying that somebody cannot affect your body. That happens. But even when your body is being hurt, your essence is untouched, always and forevermore. And we've got to get comfortable with that because our strength comes from accepting our invulnerability. It comes from accepting that what we are is this eternal, infinite energy that is innocent forevermore. See, we're getting validation. Should dance to that because it's true. So the power of decision is my own.